Hi everyone. Here to talk about employee engagement. So how do we work on engagement in an organization? Where's the leverage for engagement? So as I prepare these notes for a client, I actually thought, well, yeah, as I think through this, let me share this with my viewers. As I prepare my notes, I want to clarify my own thinking. So this is sort of a practice round for what we're going to cover with them. And the point is that depending on where you are in the organization, there's different factors that have relative importance, relative impact around what you can do to help engagement. Um, and so don't worry about how high in the organization this is, but I do want to kind of make the point where at the bottom here we're talking about frontline management and the impact that they have on employee engagement, which is significant and I think underrated. So at the top of the organization, we can have a relatively high impact on culture as it feeds engagement. And that sort of drops the further down we go in the organization, but I think has a little bit of a pop as you get near, as you get to frontline management. That culture within the team, within that frontline team, people doing their work every day. There's sort of a micro culture there, and so big impact there, but a lot of high leverage here. Uh, the work itself, this is everything from sort of strategy and purpose and everything else, super high because we set strategy more at senior levels, delegate work, and so this goes down significantly the closer we go. So how much should frontline managers pay attention to the work? There's only so much they can impact that as it relates to engagement. Of course, execution of the work matters a great deal, but at the higher levels, right, really paying attention to the impact of the work. Also, sort of the overall system and environment that we're in, the impacts. We could even include pay scales in this, but which isn't as big a factor in engagement as we think. But big impact higher up we go in the organization. Not much we can do at the frontline management level, and and so really pay attention to it. I do believe frontline managers should pay a lot of attention to their microsystem, but that's more about effectiveness, less about driving engagement. Uh, Certainly, it has effect. This is not zero. It does not go to zero. And then sort of problem solving of individual issues, right? So these are the barriers to engagement. These are individual challenges, personal challenges, etc. And to me, that goes, it's only so much we can do, and then boom, at the frontline level, has a huge, huge spike. Um, and that is understanding every one of your team members' needs and challenges and barriers and where there's friction for them as we pay attention to engagement. So what does this mean? I'll say at the senior levels, whatever that means to you, we've got to pay attention to these factors, right? Significantly, what we're doing there. But we also fundamentally have to pay attention to frontline management. What is frontline management doing here and here? Right? We can influence that with the other factors that we put in place. So it speaks to the importance of frontline management. So that's one of the takeaways I want you to take from this is the importance of frontline management on engagement. The other takeaway is, as I talk about in People Solve Problems, the importance of breaking down the problem. Too many times people look at engagement and they're trying to work on one factor, but it's all of these factors, and where you are in the organization might affect how you see breaking down the problem, right? And if you're here, you might see breaking down the problem in a different way. So, as you look at engagement, don't just try to solve engagement with one solution. Break down the problem, understand it, understand where you are and where your leverage is, and then build your strategy one step at a time. So, engagement's an important thing, as I've said before. I do believe that now, 2022 and last year and going forward as well, employee engagement has finally reached the pinnacle of cultural impact that we need to pay more attention to it as a truly strategic leverage point. So hopefully this gives you some things to think about as many of you and your organizations are thinking about employee engagement and how you can have an impact on that. Thank you and good luck.